sorry for the jump scare. I am jumping in to intro this video as I end it because we all know that I love to forget an intro. Also, my morning rasp is kind of giving, isn't it? But anyway, hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin. I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today we're doing a little bit of a mood reading vlog. I just wanted to pick up whatever I was feeling in the moment, and that's what happened in this video. So I hope you enjoy. Let's see what I get up to. Okay, so I'm about 146 pages, which is the start of chapter 13 in Harrow the Ninth by Tamsyn Muir. This is the second book in the Log Tomb series following Gideon the Ninth. And so in this one, we pick up right after the crazy ending of Gideon the Ninth, but we are following Harrow in this book and what Harrow's journey is looking like as she embarks on a journey to help the emperor win an unwinnable war, and she must hone her skills and become an angel of undeath. But her health is failing, her sword makes her nauseous, and even her mind is threatening to betray her. Okay, so here here are my very early thoughts. I don't know what's going on. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm not even gonna hold you. I am confused. Okay. But as I ended chapter 12, it kind of started making more sense. And it is yeah. I'm starting to see the light, but as of right now at 146 pages, a lot of it was what the frick am I reading? And what I will say is that I realized while I was reading Gideon the Ninth, that Gideon's humor and personality was a large part of why I liked that book. But now that I am following Harrow, I am missing Gideon so much. I'm missing Gideon. I'm missing Gideon's humor, and yeah, this is not hitting as hard as Gideon for me. So I don't know what I'm gonna think about it. Like I said, I am starting to understand now what is happening, and I think once I fully understand what's going on with Harrow and where the story is going, I think that'll help. I'm not having a bad time. I'm just confused. And yeah, I'm just confused. So I had to put this down because I am doing an immersive reading experience. There's no way I can make it through this book without doing that. But my audiobook time ran out, and so I think there was like one person before me. So I'm just waiting for my turn to come back around so I can get some more of this read. I am taking my time and reading this slowly because I'm already confused. There's no way I can rush this. If I rushed reading this, then I absolutely would not know what is going on. But yeah, I think that once I kind of get, and I think it's because Harrow's mind is playing tricks on her. So it's hard to tell what's real and what's not, but also that's the exact experience that Harrow is having. So I get why it's trippy, I get why it's confusing, but your girl is struggling. I don't got that many brain cells firing right now just because life, and so it's very hard to process, but I'm sticking with it. I'm just going through it, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, Because I gotta get to Nona. Here's the thing. I really want to read Nona the Ninth because I spoiled myself and I know that something that I really want to happen is going to happen in Nona. So I gotta get to Nona. So yeah, I'm gonna try my best to make it through Harrow. I don't even know if it'll be in this vlog, but Harrow is being read. Okay. And yeah, like I said, I don't know when my audiobook is coming back, but when it does, you'll know, and I'll just keep you updated. It might just be one that takes us through the month and it might span a couple of vlogs, but that's okay. I'll keep you updated on my progress. Almost says process, on my progress, and if I actually start to understand what's going on. Because right now I don't know. Hey y'all, so I am about 200 pages, which is like just shy of 50% into Throne of Secrets. And I wanted to come and talk to you about it because I've been really bad at giving updates in between while I'm reading the books. So, I'm trying to be better at it. So here we are, right? So in this, let me see, because I feel like I'm bad at wanting to spoil things. So let me just in this, we are following Gabriel Axton, who is known as Prince Gluttony, who is the self proclaimed rake of rakes, and he has always lived for indulgence in delicious food and tantalizing women, and most of all in the thrill of the hunt, where his love of danger can take over. But when his favorite adventure takes a deadly turn, he realizes something is very wrong in his demon court. With the clock ticking, he must turn to the only one who might uncover the truth, a journalist he has spent a decade avoiding. Adriana St. Lucent has been on the hunt for years. If she could just report something damning enough about that no good scoundrel, Gabriel Axton, she knows others would finally see the demon the way that she does. But she's never expected to turn up a rumor too terrifying to be believed. Could the ice dragons to the north be growing restless? Drawn into the secrets of the underworld, Adriana follows her investigation into the place she dreads most, Axton's infamous court. So we have Gluttony and Adriana who have this ongoing rivalry, if you will. We have gotten peaks of them in the Kingdom of the Wicked series as well as Stone of the Fallen. And they're just always going back and forth. Adriana works for a gossip magazine, so she's always printing these scathing articles about Gluttony and how she doesn't like him, which is crazy because everyone in the kingdom or whatever just loves Gluttony. So they're like, what is she talking about? And we find out that something happened between Adriana and Gluttony. Now, here we are at my page 200, and we still haven't gotten an explanation of what that event was, but something happened between the two of them. That is the reason why Adriana hates Gluttony so much. And we're going to have to find that out, okay? And I don't know why that is being drug out, but it is, okay? And going into this, I did not know, but you should know, this is very much Cinderella coded. Now, is it a direct retelling? I'm not going to go as far as to say that, but very heavy on the Cinderella coding, very heavy. Like evil stepmother mask events where the two meet and don't know who each other are. Like, you know what I'm saying? That type of thing. Very heavy, Cinderella coded, very much Adriana taking care of, her evil stepmother, her stepsister. And yeah, it's giving that. And that is kind of like a little bit of a turn off for me because I just don't really enjoy Cinderella retellings for whatever reason. I've read a few and they have just never been my favorite. I think it's just because the Cinderella, like the actual story of Cinderella, is so messed up to begin with. Like, yeah, and also kind of pisses me off a little bit, but we're not getting into that. So, my thing so far that I will say about this book is that I cannot help but compare it to Throne of the Fallen. I mean, it's in the same series. Like, yes, they are standalones and completely separate stories, but they're in the same series, they're in the same world, and I can't help but compare Adriana and Gluttony to Camilla and Envy. And okay, sorry, had a little bit of an interruption there, but like I was saying, I can't help but to compare these two couples, and I am I like Camilla and Envy more from Throne of the Fallen, okay? And that's just where I am. It feels like Adriana and Gluttony have this very like petty type of relationship, and they just love going back at each other and annoying each other, and you just hear so much about why they hate each other, but like we don't have the history behind that yet. So it kind of just feels like they need to grow up. Like, why y'all being petty and childish? But I feel like once we see what actually happened between them, however many years ago, then that will kind of give us the background we need to know why they are going so hard at fighting and bickering and arguing with each other. So, yeah, I am interested to see where this story is going because as of right now, Gluttony has announced that he is doing this kind of like the bachelor type situation where he is going to be dating women from each of the circles of hell to find his wife. And he is doing this to distract the people in the realm from the trouble that they are having with these ice dragons. Gluttony offered Adriana a role in this I don't even know what to call it, but this wife search is what I'm going to call it. But she turned down the position. And he mainly created this to keep Adriana off of their tracks because she had found out from someone about the ice dragons. And so Gluttony is doing everything to keep her and everyone else off the trail. But I want to know how this is going to play out. I don't know how or what Adriana's role is going to be or how they're going to get close enough to actually form this relationship because you assume that's what's going to happen because it's a romance book. So, yeah. And I also will say that so far I liked the plot of Throne of the Fallen more with the games. The games were so interesting to me, but we don't really have games in this. I don't know if it's coming now because I don't know what the wife search competition is going to look like, but I doubt it's going to be games to the level that Throne of the Fallen was. So yeah, it's very different, and I just I don't know. I don't dislike it. I love how Kerri Maniscalco writes her banter and writes her couples. She writes really strong women main characters, and I love that. And you know, I'm enjoying it, but it's just very hard for me not to compare it to Throne of the Fallen, especially because that was one of my favorite books of 2024 and possibly maybe one of my all-time favorite books. I don't know. I haven't really sat down and fleshed out that list, but it could possibly make it. So yeah, it's just hard not to compare that to this. But anyway, I'm having a good time. I am hoping that we find out why Adriana and Gluttony hate each other, and also to see how their love story is going to play out. because there's some interesting things happening right now. So yeah. Anyway, and also I feel like Pride's book is going to be next because he's doing some sly shit. He being a little sneaky, and I feel like it's a setup for whatever his book is going to be. But I don't know. I'll see what I think again by the end of it. Who I think is going to be next. But as of right now, something is telling me the next person is Pride. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, let's finish this up and see what I think about it, because I'm actually really interested to see how my feelings are going to turn out with this. But anyway, I'm just rambling on now, so I'm going to go. Bye. Alrighty, friends. So we have finished Throne of Secrets by Kerri Maniscalco, and it's time to talk about it. Okay, let's get into it. So I feel like my feelings from the first clip stand true as I finished this book. There were some things that I did not love about it. I was 300 pages into this 500-page book, and it is marketed, it is sold to us as is it fantasy romance or romantasy? Fantasy romance, okay? We are 300 pages into this 500-page book, and Adriana and Gluttony were still going back and forth with each other. And by going back and forth with each other, they kept trying to best one another to prove that, the other one liked the other person more. And they were just going back and forth doing stuff to irritate the other person. We're 300 pages in. Why are they still doing it? If we're 300 pages in before they get together, you mean to tell me we're going to pack in a get together, break up, get back together in 200 pages? Yes. Yes. That's what Kerri decided to do. And I did not love that. I did not love that because it felt like immediately after they got together, they were going through their little fourth act breakup moment. And I'm just like, we didn't even get a chance to like root for them before you tear them back apart. Like this is giving me whiplash. Like we had 300 pages of backstory that I just feel like, did we need that much? Did we? But really, what really irritated me about Gluttony's games was that he had all these people doing so much work for these games and had these women and their families moving into the castle thinking that, they each had a chance to be with him when he had no intentions of marrying these women at all. He was leading them on and lying to everybody, all to distract them from what was actually happening. And that just kind of irritated me because, look, that's rude. That's rude. That's wrong. You don't play with people's feelings. And what made it worse for me is that there were times, this is heavy. Good Lord. There were times where he acknowledged that it was bad that he was doing this. And he was just like, yeah, I'm still going to do it because I'm protecting my kingdom. I'm like, that's a weak argument, but okay. Go off. I also think that they really, really tried to lean into the whole rake personality trait. And like his nicknames even involve the word rake. And I'm like, you don't have to beat us over the head with that. Like, we know what type of person Gluttony is, we know what his persona is. You don't have to tell us that on every page for us to know that that is what he is. We already know. So that turned a little annoying by the end of the book. At the very beginning, we learned that something happened at a ball 10 years ago, and that is the reason why Adriana hates Gluttony. We did not find out what actually happened and what caused Adriana to hate Gluttony until close to 400 pages in. So I am reading this book and I am probably at the 75% mark, and that's when I find out why Adriana hates Gluttony so much. And then the way that it was so underwhelming You made me wait this long for it to be that underwhelming. And then also there's a mystery aspect in this book, and I feel like Kerri Maniscalco was just throwing out red herrings left and right. Like it made it like we went very hard on one person being the person, and then she was like, nah, I don't want to make it them. Let's change it to somebody else. And then she was like, nah, let's change it to somebody else. And then the actual person was revealed, and it was a different person from the other three that she tried to make you believe was the ones. And I'm just like, girl, you doing all of this. And we don't need the mental gymnastics. That's not what we're here for. We're here for the fantasy romance of it all. And I actually feel like the romance, they just went back and forth so long. Like, is that even a romance? Like, yes, there were spicy scenes and them doing things, but like that's not romance to me. So you know what I mean? I don't know. I just felt that the pacing for this one was off for how long the book was. And I have absolutely no problems with these books being long because Throne of the Fallen, I think, was the same length, if not longer. And I ate all of that up. I didn't mind. But the pacing of this one and just the way that she decided to tell this story, I didn't love as much as Throne of the Fallen. I If I was a quarter star person, this would be a 3.75. But because I am only a half star person, I decided to round this up to a 4. It's a very low 4, barely a 4, but yet still a 4. There was so much that I liked about this. I did have a good time. I know it probably sounded like I didn't because I just kind of ranted on everything that I didn't like, but like I said, there was a lot to like about this, and I I thought that pride was going to be next, but then there was something at the end of the book that kind of hinted that maybe lust will be next. So I don't know. I feel like it'll be one of those two characters. It would surprise me if she threw out greed or, who is it? Greed, or I think that's everybody. I don't know. But yeah, it's looking like lust or pride to me. I'm not really sure which one, but I just, I did like the dragons in this book. They were a really big theme. Probably you can tell because they're on the cover. But we love a dragon. So if you like dragons, you can pick this up as a standalone. You don't have to read Throne of the Fallen. Um, I don't think I was spoiled for anything. Like there are cameos of Camilla and Envy in this, but not. I don't think it spoils anything. I think the only like spoiler is reading this series before reading Kingdom of the Wicked, but not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I am slightly disappointed because Throne of the Fallen was just so up there for me. And this one is probably one that I will forget after a while, but I did enjoy my time with it. And so, yeah, that's all I can ask for is to enjoy a book at this point. So, yeah. Anyway, okay, so I kind of had to binge read First Time Caller because my Libby hold was going to be up soon. So I just had to, I had to lock in. and so I didn't have time to come and update you in between, so I finished it at this point. So let us talk about the synopsis before I go into my thoughts. So in First Time Caller, we're following Aiden Valentine, who is a radio personality, and he has kind of fallen out of love with the idea of love. And that's interesting because he runs a romance hotline on the radio station. He's out here struggling a little bit. One night, a young girl calls into the radio station and basically says that, you know, she is wanting some dating advice for her mom because she doesn't feel like her mom is happy. And her mom is Lucy, and Lucy ends up finding out about the call, like walking in during the middle of it and like freaking out, but eventually having a conversation with Aiden about what she wants out of life. And she's just talking about how she wants magic. She believes in love, she believes in the magic, and that's what she wants, and she's not settling for anything less than that, which is why she doesn't have a person right now. And the call ends up going viral, and so Lucy ends up joining Aiden on the radio show because like everyone falls in love with Lucy and they just want her to get her happy ending. So they kind of create this like dating show for Lucy and try to help her find her match. But along the way, as you know, with romance books, Lucy and Aiden begin developing feelings for each other, and so they are trying to manage that but also go along with the show as well. And yeah, so let's talk about First Time Caller. And I might have to be light spoilery in this just so I can make my point and you can understand why I'm saying the things that I'm saying. I gotta make it make sense, and to do that I'm gonna need examples. Okay, so first off, I found both Lucy and Aiden to be annoying at times, but in different ways, but annoying. So with Aiden, his whole thing is that, you know, his mom has been sick on and off his whole life, and he has seen his dad like deal with that and how much his dad loves his mom and just the fear of losing his mom. And then while working on this romance hotline, he just feels like the calls he gets are so ridiculous, and so he just doesn't even feel like love is a legit thing anymore. And because of that, he sometimes acts like an asshole, and he will, you know, use excuses to keep people at bay and to keep them at a certain distance and to keep himself from actually having to feel. Like, instead of setting expectations and being disappointed, he just doesn't set any expectations, doesn't let anybody in, and it's just an overall grump because of that right now. And it's just so frustrating because throughout the book he is doing these mental gymnastics, and it's just so frustrating because you can tell that he actually likes Lucy, but he's not going to let himself like Lucy, or he will, like, you know, do something and then he'll back off and be like, no, we can't do this, you don't, I'm not good enough for you, you want more than me, this is not what you want. And as someone who has felt that way, and as someone who has done things similar to Aiden, I get it, but like also it's very annoying to me now, and I think that's so funny. But then also Lucy, on the other hand, who's very annoying to me, because if someone asks you what type of partner you want and you say, oh, I've never thought about that, I don't know, what do you mean, I told you I'm not good at dating. Girl, I didn't even want to get married. I had no plans on getting married before I met Lex, and I still knew the kind of partner that I would have wanted. You're 29. You're 29, and you don't know what kind of partner you want. You can't even like name anything basic. Like, you just want a nice person. You want someone who isn't mean to you. Like, you ain't got nothing. You got nothing. Or what kind of date you would like to go on. And it's just stuff like that that irritated me. She was very like, oh, I don't know. Girl, grow up, okay? Stop acting like that. So it's just little things like that that annoyed me about both of them. And this felt long. It was long. It was, how many pages? This was 448 pages, and I felt it, honey. I felt all 448 of them pages. And but but this isn't, when we talk in terms of spiciness, it was like at least past halfway before anything happened, which I'm totally okay with. But let me tell you something about Aiden, because if you've read this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Aiden does this, I want to say grand gesture, but it's not grand. But he does this very nice gesture for Lucy, and like, yeah, cause like he was listening to her, and I think that's really cute. But also Aiden, we got to see a different side of Aiden, and that worked. It was on the longer end as far as spicy scenes go, but baby, I was eating up every page. Cause I didn't really care for Aiden before the spicy scene, but once that was over, I was like, Aiden, I kind of like you now. BK wrote that. She did that. You know what I'm saying? You know. I might have gave her a little extra half star for that, cause it gave what it needed to give. I was a fan. But speaking of rating, I rated this a 3 star. I don't know about BK Borison. I don't know. And I'm still trying to find the magic that I felt in when I read Love Like Farms. But I've read 2 of her books since then, In the Weeds and now this, and it's just feeling okay. It's just giving okay. So I'm wondering if I reread Love Like Farms, I would feel that way about it now, because I think that was within the first year or so that I had gotten back into reading. And I know that there are some books that if I read now that I like loved back then, it would not be the same. So I'm wondering if that's one of those books that would change for me. But I want to like BK Borison, but I don't know. I am interested because I think she said that Jackson's book is next, and just from what we got of Jackson in this first book, I am very interested to see what he's gonna give. So I probably will pick up the next one, but yeah, it was fine. I wish I was one of those people who loved it, but I'm not. I did love the thing where they would just say each other's name. Like there was like a bit that they did with each other where they would be like, Lucy, Aiden. And I liked that. I thought that was a little cute little, you know? So anyway, this was fun ish. Yeah. Okay, friends, let us talk about Love and Bloom. I ended up finishing this book, and yeah, I didn't get a chance to update you before I finished it, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna talk about it now. All right. So in Love and Bloom by Lucy Eden, we follow Atlanta publicist Emma Walters, who has a, seemingly perfect life, but in the matter of 24 hours, she ends up losing her job, breaking up with her boyfriend, and inheriting a farm from her estranged grandparents. So she decides that, she is going to go live on the farm for a little bit to kind of recuperate from all the crap that has just happened to her, but also to learn more about her grandparents and her older sister who passed away when she was a child, and also just to figure it out, to see if she wants to sell this farm, if she's going to keep it, all the things. She has a lot to figure out, and she decides to go to the farm to do that. So while she's at the farm, she meets Dan. And Dan is the manager of the farm, if you will. He takes care of everything. As time goes on, Emma finds out that the farm is not just a regular farm as she suspected, and that Dan's part in the farm, his role is a lot bigger and a lot more whatever the word is than what she originally thought. So, to give you a hint, there are shops in this town with the name 4 and 20 Blackbirds, and there's a diner named Greenie's. And so, take that hint. Take that hint and do with it what you will. If you don't get it, then sorry. I'm not going to tell you because that's a major spoiler for what's going on in the book. But now Emma has to come up with a plan to save the town because they are being threatened because of her. And so she has to figure out how she's going to save the town. She has to figure out her feelings for Dan because they eventually, of course, start up a romance in. And she also has to decide if she's going to try to pick up the pieces of her life in Atlanta or if she is going to continue to live on the farm indefinitely. And I feel like I did a horrible job at explaining what that book was about, but I tried. I tried. That's what we got. That's what we got. Okay. I was reading this while I was at work, which is why I didn't get a chance to update you because I'll be tired after work. So I wrote down my thoughts while I was reading so I didn't forget anything because I wanted to be prepared. So we're going to go through these thoughts, okay? And we're going to talk about Love and Bloom. So first off, this book was a little choppy for me. It was a little choppy and it felt like I was reading scenes from a play and the scenes weren't well connected. They didn't blend well at all. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the book, Emma had a big breakup. This breakup was with Teddy. Emma and Teddy have been together since college, so it is going on close to be, it's a minimum of 5 year relationship, if not longer. When Teddy and Emma break up at the beginning of the book, it is so unrealistic to me, especially considering how long they were in a relationship together, because Emma leaves. She packs a bag. She leaves to go to the farm. The farm is like 4 hours away from Atlanta. So she leaves for like a week or two before she has to come back and like get more things. And she's decided like she's going to stay longer than she thought she was originally. So she just goes to, get the rest of her stuff. And that's when Teddy shows back up and he's like, "Where have you been? I've been trying to find you." First of all, he knows where she went to. And he did not try to contact. He said he did, but he really did. He didn't try to contact her or anything. And if you really cared about somebody and you didn't like the way that the breakup happened, you could have gone to the farm to find her. Like it was just silence. And then when she came back, he tried to act like it was so much more than what it was. But I just thought that didn't it didn't feel realistic to me that like while they were breaking up, it just something was off about their breakup for me. But also in this book, Emma's parents, people say they don't like kids in books. I'm starting to not like parents in books. Because in this book, Emma had an older sister named Annie. And Annie was really sick as a child and passed away. And her parents refused to talk to her about Annie. They like if she brought up Annie's name, it's just they either shut down and say nothing or it becomes like this big argument. And I'm like, what kind of parent just gonna act like this child didn't exist? She was old enough to know her sister, and even if she wasn't, like we just not gonna act like she doesn't exist. And also, if she had a really good relationship with her grandparents as a kid, and then all of a sudden she just stops seeing them, and then they become estranged. Like she deserves explanations. Why are y'all acting like this? Just talk. Just have a conversation. And yes, I know like losing a child would be very hard to deal with, but you're not the only person that lost somebody. Like you have a kid that lost their sibling very young. You just can't leave them hanging out to dry and then act the butthole when they try to get answers from you as an adult. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. And then in this character overall, I did not love. She was very annoying to me. So there are spicy scenes in this book, okay? And the spicy scenes were so cringe to me. I couldn't even enjoy it because she said the words sheath and unsheath at minimum 3 times in a scene. Baby, why? Why? You don't need to ever say that because instead of saying, this is so cringe, and she was using it instead of saying in and out. And so sheath and unsheath just feels disgusting to even come out of my mouth and even to read and then to have to read it multiple times in one scene. Ew. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. I'm thrown off. I don't want it. Keep it. I don't want it. And then also, every time they kissed, she said that they separated their mouths with a pop. Every time. Lucy. Another issue that I had with this book is that it felt like every other chapter or hell, every other section within a chapter, Dan was giving a declaration of his love for Emma. And I'm like, you can only do that so many times before it becomes annoying, before the feelings like leave. Like it just felt overdone. Like and I'm not saying, don't tell your person that you love them, but like he was giving a full like end of a rom-com declaration of love every chapter. It loses the effect and it doesn't feel real, right? It just became annoying. And so while I was reading this book, I was waiting for the conflict to happen because yes, we have the decision of if Emma is going to stay at the farm, if she's going to sell the farm or whatever, but those issues were kind of resolved kind of quickly. And so I was like, okay, so something else has to happen because I'm like halfway, 60% into this book, and what we thought was going to be the conflict has already been solved. So it was 70%, 75% into this book, and then another conflict popped up. And I'm like, how are we going to resolve this fast? Like, and then on top of that, kept reading, and then another conflict popped up at 80%. So that's two conflicts, pretty big plot conflicts that we need to resolve in 25% of the book. What were we doing for the other 75%? Why did you wait until the end to bring this up? And then, of course, it felt rushed. Okay, I'm back because my microphone died. But what I was saying was, of course, it felt like the resolutions to both of these conflicts were rushed because we didn't have a lot of book time left to resolve these things. And, that's fine. I ended up rating this a two star. I wanted to like it so much more than I did, and I gave it a shot. So I don't feel like this was horrible or something that I just would not ever recommend. If it sounds good to you, then I think you should give it a shot. It just wasn't something that particularly worked for me. And it was really in the details. I think the overarching plot and story was fine. It was just in the details and some specifics and some kinks that needed to be worked out a little bit more. And yeah, I think that is all that I have to say about Love and Bloom. Alrighty, friends, let us go ahead and wrap this vlog up. I'm gonna try to keep it short because I already know this is a long enough video as it is. But we started off reading Harrow the Ninth, and I just got my audiobook back for that, so I'll be continuing that in my next vlog. Well, maybe not the next one, but my next like mood reading vlog. And then we went on to read Throne of Secrets, which I ended up rating a 4-star. We read First Time Caller, which is a 3-star, and Love and Bloom, a 2-star read. So this vlog was all over the place. We got a mixed bag of ratings, and overall, it just kind of gave me. And I'm not very happy about that. So here's to hoping that our next vlog will be better, especially with mood reads, because that I'm picking these because I want to read them at the moment, and they're not giving what I need to give. So something's got to change. Something has to change. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, anything that you do to support me and my channel. It is very, very much appreciated. I hope you have the best day that you possibly can, and remember to take care of yourself. I will catch you in the next video. Bye.